Why is Tony Stewart happier racing 300-mile-per-hour cars than he ever was in NASCAR? The answer might surprise you and reveals everything wrong with America's most popular racing series. Tony Stewart just made headlines again, but not for the reasons you'd expect. While NASCAR struggles through one of its worst periods in decades, the three-time Cup Series champion is living his best life in drag racing. And he's not holding back about why he left stock cars behind. Let's start with the elephant in the room. NASCAR is in serious trouble. For the first time in the sport's history, some of its biggest names are openly trashing the product they used to promote. We're talking about guys like Denny Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and veteran Mark Martin all saying the same thing: NASCAR's current car is broken. The problem started with the next-gen car. When NASCAR introduced this seventh-generation vehicle in 2022, they promised fans everything would get better: lower costs, closer racing, and a more modern product. 3 years later, drivers are calling the racing artificial and boring. Shane Van Gisbergen proved just how bad things have gotten. At Watkins Glen, he won a cup race by 11 seconds. In today's NASCAR, that's like winning a basketball game by 50 points. Instead of celebrating SVG's incredible driving skills, everyone started complaining about how the car makes racing too predictable. Kevin Harvick nailed it when he said NASCAR used to celebrate greatness. Now, when someone dominates, people act like there's something wrong with the sport itself. And honestly, they might be right. The real problem is that these cars are too perfect. They don't slide around enough. They don't wear out tires the way they used to. Drivers barely make mistakes anymore because the car handles too well. It sounds weird to complain about cars being too good, but that's exactly what's happening. Ryan Blaney explained what it's really like to drive these cars. He said drivers are guessing where their grip level will be every single lap. They're always right on the edge of disaster, just trying not to crash. If they back off even a little bit, they'll finish 30th every week. Christopher Bell puts it simply: you're always on the limit. One tiny mistake and you're spinning into the wall. Kyle Busch said he's trying to make his car go faster than it's actually capable of going, just to keep up with the top teams. But here's where Tony Stewart comes into the story. While NASCAR drivers are fighting impossible cars and dealing with a sport that seems to ignore their concerns, Stewart is having the time of his life in NHRA drag racing. Stewart has won 2 top fuel races in his last 3 starts. He's leading the points standings in only his second full season, and he's making it very clear that he's never been happier in racing. At Route 66 Raceway after his recent win, Stewart went off on NASCAR in a way that grabbed everyone's attention. He said NASCAR can take their manufactured drama and stuff it where the sun doesn't shine. He loves that in NHRA, drivers actually respect each other and can be friends off the track. Stewart talked about camping with fellow driver Steve Torrence the night before their race. They'll compete head-to-head for 3.5 seconds, then congratulate each other at the finish line. That kind of sportsmanship doesn't exist in NASCAR anymore, according to Stewart. The contrast is stark. In NHRA, Stewart said fans can walk through the pit area, get autographs, and watch the teams work. The atmosphere is family-friendly and fun. NASCAR has moved away from that accessibility, putting more barriers between fans and the sport. Stewart's criticism goes deeper than just the current racing product. He believes NASCAR has created its own problems by ignoring drivers and teams for years. Back in 2013 and 2014, drivers approached NASCAR with solutions. They wanted softer tires that would wear out during races, creating strategy and making driving skill matter more. NASCAR ignored those suggestions. Instead, they made the cars more equal and gave them harder tires. The result is racing where nobody can pass anybody, and track position matters more than driving ability. Stewart doesn't hold back when talking about NASCAR's priorities. He thinks the sanctioning body cares more about making money than creating good racing. Until fans stop watching and attending races, nothing will change, he said. The business side makes this even more complicated. NASCAR has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the next-gen car. Teams have spent enormous amounts adapting to it. They can't just throw it all away and start over. Instead, insiders predict NASCAR will make changes after this season ends. They might add 100 more horsepower to the current 670. They could modify the aerodynamics to help with passing. But these would be adjustments, not a complete overhaul. The timing of any announcement matters too. NASCAR can't admit their car has major problems in the middle of the playoffs. That would make the championship seem illegitimate. Fans might think the winner only succeeded because of a broken system. Meanwhile, the sport continues to lose fans. Tracks that used to sell out with 160,000 people now struggle to fill half that number. TV ratings that once reached 8 to 10 million viewers for big races now consider 3 million a success. Social media makes everything worse. When Dale Jr. tweets about car problems, millions of people see it instantly. In the past, unhappy fans wrote letters or complained at the track. Now criticism spreads across the internet in minutes, and the next-gen car has other serious issues too. Despite promises of improved safety, there have been some scary crashes. Kurt Busch's career ended after a crash at Pocono. There have been 7 cars go airborne since this car was introduced, including Ryan Preece's terrifying flip at Daytona. The car's aerodynamic design creates problems when drivers spin backwards at high speeds. The rear diffuser acts like a parachute, lifting cars off the ground. NASCAR has made some safety improvements, but the fundamental issue remains. For drivers, the next gen creates a frustrating experience. Carson Hocevar said the car is super easy to spin with very little warning. Unlike other race cars that give drivers a chance to save a slide, this car just snaps around suddenly. The dirty air problem makes passing even harder. When a driver gets stuck behind another car, the turbulent air hurts their grip and makes their tires wear out faster. It's a problem Formula One has dealt with for years, and now NASCAR faces the same issue. All these problems explain why Tony Stewart is so much happier in his new racing home. NHRA doesn't manufacture drama or create artificial competition. The racing is pure, fastest car wins, period. There's no complicated playoff system or rules designed to bunch up the field. Stewart's split from NASCAR became complete when he ended his partnership with sprint car legend Donnie Schatz. After 18 years together, 8 World of Outlaws championships, and hundreds of wins, Stewart made the difficult decision to replace Schatz with Kerry Madsen. The partnership ended because Schatz's performance had declined, and their approaches to racing no longer matched. Schatz remained fiercely competitive at 48 years old, demanding excellence and getting frustrated with poor results. Stewart wanted a more relaxed environment where racing could be fun. Stewart tried everything to help Schatz regain his form. They switched crew chiefs 3 times, tried 3 different engine programs, and tested every possible setup. Nothing worked consistently. Eventually, Stewart realized continuing would only frustrate both of them. The decision shows how Stewart's priorities have changed since leaving NASCAR. He sold his Cup Series team and stepped away from that high-pressure environment. Now he focuses on enjoying racing, spending time with his family, and supporting his wife, Leah Pruitt's drag racing career. This philosophical difference highlights what's wrong with NASCAR's culture. The sport has become so focused on manufactured excitement and artificial competition that it's lost sight of what made racing great in the first place. Celebrating skill, respecting competitors, and putting on a genuine show for fans. Stewart's success in NHRA proves there's still room for authentic racing in America. While NASCAR struggles with declining attendance, confusing rules, and frustrated drivers, Stewart is setting records and having fun doing it. The 3-time NASCAR champion admits he's still a fan of stock car racing, but he knows the sport could be so much better. NASCAR has created most of its own problems by ignoring feedback from drivers, teams, and fans. They've prioritized short-term profits over long-term health.